Okay, so today I'm going to be looking at Cloudflare, and we're also going to be going over on how to migrate to Cloudflare, what are the benefits of Cloudflare, and why Cloudflare is pretty much just the greatest thing since sliced bread. Uh, if you're into web hosting or deploying sites and networks, then this is one thing you definitely need to take a look at. Cloudflare bench is at the top of the benchmarks for DNS response times. And some of their technology they use for DNS is absolutely insane. Like, just when you take a look at their dashboard, it's almost unbelievable because the technology you're getting in order to manipulate and monitor and track the DNS that your server or website's on and the abilities it gives you to do is insane. They even have APIs based on certain DNS events you can trigger, and then you can trigger that to certain actions. So it's really good. It's really good. And like I said, they're at the top of the benchmarks. I mean, they even benchmark higher than Google's DNS response times in many situations. So I'm also going to be going over on how to use their DNS, not only for your your website, but also for your local area network, so that it can talk to your website faster and the order you should put your DNS settings at. So okay, so the first thing I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to go over the sign up page. Look at the sign up page. When it comes to GUI development, these guys did it right. There's so many times, it don't matter how much you know in the computer industry, that whenever you come across a new application, if the GUI isn't friendly, you can spend another hour of your time just trying to figure out where things are located, which is one reason why the Linux terminal and command line set is so nice, because once you learn it, you know it. You don't have to relearn it. You don't have to search for things. You can just make happen what you want to happen. So anyway, for a GUI, these guys knocked it out of the park. So this is their sign-up page. You'd think it is a login page, but it's actually a sign-in page. The only thing they're asking for you is an email, a password, create account, do the verification, and your account's up. It's like the easiest sign-up process like ever. So after you sign up, you will be greeted by their Cloudflare dashboard, and they even have a little message here. Tell us what you think of the new navigation. I think it is awesome. I remember when I came here the first time, it wasn't too long ago. It was too long ago. And if you look at this, like, you don't even have to search around. It's like, well, oh, here's my site that I added. Let me click this. I need to change the DNS. Oh, there's a DNS button right here. Oh, look, all my DNS. Anyway, so you see how easy that was? I just logged in. Oh, there's DNS. Oh, I want to know about analytics on my site. It's right here. I don't have any because I'm not using their proxy. I tried it and then I didn't try it. So, something else you need to know. If you're going to use their proxy, be aware that your SSH probably isn't going to work right away. Now, the reason for that is when you have the proxy enabled, we go over here to developers.cloudflare.com. You can see they only have certain ports opened on their proxy. Now, I don't know how it is for their enterprise package and all that. They'll probably do whatever you want at that point. But yeah, the only specific ports are going to be open, and they tell you right here, HTTP port supported by Cloudflare, HTTPS ports supported by Cloudflare, caching is disabled on the following ports, and then how to use Cloudflare's proxy for additional ports. If traffic for your domain is destined for a different port than the ones listed above, for example, you have an SSH server that listens for incoming connections on port 22. Either change your subdomain to be gray clouded via your Cloudflare's DNS app to bypass the Cloudflare's and connect directly to your origin. So pretty much, I guess what they're saying is you could just make a subdomain pointed to your primary IP address, keep the proxy off for that, and use that for connecting. Also, I've been doing some reading on the forums. You can get away with just opening up your SSH port and like changing it to one of these now. SSH is encrypted. Now I don't know if there's a chance it might not work. Haven't tried myself yet, but from what I've been seeing on the forums and stuff, it does work just fine. Now they could, check out the packets a little bit with packet analysis and be like, oh, this is, SSH, or, oh, this is, different from so and so encryption. We're gonna block it. Now, 90% sure that's not gonna happen to you. So, uh, change your port. One of the ones that caching's disabled on, or make a subdomain. So that's how you get around that. What else do we have here? We have security. Shows the number of threats. Gives you top crawlers and bot over 24 hours. Matching requests. Traffic served over SSL. Types of threats mitigated. Types of threats stopped. Go performance tab. Gives you a breakdown of performance. Bandwidth saved. Client HTTP versions. Content type breakdown. DNS. Shows the DNS crawlers by response code. Workers. This is, their worker page. Virtually kind of like the same thing as like the Google crawlers. Little different. Email routing. Create custom email addresses for your domain. Route incoming emails to your preferred mailbox. Then SSL and TLS. Now, from my understanding, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to import your SSL certificate. And I believe the reason for this is pretty much just because they're caching your site and stuff like that. So you're going to need your SSL. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck using the one they provide you. So when you're using their proxy, what's going to happen is when you go up to your little view site information icon, when you're going to your site, you're going to notice it's not your original SSL with like Let's Encrypt or Komodo or whatever. You're going to see it's their SSL now. And the reason for that is because it's hitting their server first, going through the proxy, and it's confirming with their proxy, and that's the SSL certificate they're using. So, and here's their edge certificates. And right here, you can enable these features: TLS 1.3, automatic HTTPS rewrites, certificate transparency monitoring, disable the universal SSL, client certificates, and server custom host names. Let's go to the security tab. This is essentially kind of like advanced firewall. If you look at some of the rules you can create, do it by field, country, host name, IP source, PB, lots of options here. Then we're going to go over to manage rules. You have rate limiting. You have a toolbox here. Key access rules, firewall rules. There we are. HTTP, DDoS attack protection. Network layer DDoS attack protection. You have access policies here. You can set, okay, let's go to speed. Speed. So if you look, visitors to your website see content in 1.2 seconds on Cloudflare. That's 38% faster. Cloudflare, it takes about 2 seconds for the site to load. It's already pretty good. I'm not done like completely optimizing my site. I'm still gonna real time some stuff on there, do some other things. So if you know how to like, well, never mind that. Okay, so optimization. So the really cool part about their DNS proxy, things you can do with it, you can have them apply image resizing and auto minify. So this will, what it will do is when it serves a proxy version of your site, it's going to serve it faster unless you have like, unless your connection has a ton of bandwidth and you're running on like a gutted kernel, you've done real-time priority and all that stuff, you're definitely going to see improvements with their proxy. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Their auto minify, this is really, really nice with their proxy. So what it's doing is it's proxying your site, and it's going through your site automatically, and it's automatically making the JavaScript, the CSS, and the HTML more efficient so that it loads the page. Now, this is surprising because a lot of stuff like this, especially you'll notice this kind of stuff when you're dealing with WordPress, other website builders, and you'll notice they break your site. So I'm pretty sure their algorithms for this are like tip top notch because this is universal. So it's probably working, 99% of the time. My guess, just throwing that random statistics out there, it's not exact at all. But it's probably really, really good if you're just thinking about this in a common sense perspective. And the cool part about it is they're applying all this using their DNX as a proxy on the fly. I mean, that's pretty cool. Brutally speed up your page time, speed up page load times for your visitors HTTPS by applying Broadly compression. Not 100% sure what that is, but I am sure it's just another type of compression. Probably really good. I haven't heard of it before. Optimized delivery gives you early hints to the browser. Automatic platform optimization for WordPress. That's a big one. Enhanced HTTP2 prioritization. TCP Pro, reduce latency and increase throughput with custom-tuned TCP optimizations enabled automatically for pro business and enterprise customers. I'd kind of like to know more about what that entails. There are other things you can do with Linux, like TCP no delay, and a few other things. If Red Hat's got some good documentation, I can just Google and just type in lower network latency Red Hat. They have some pretty good documentation on how to do it. Mirage, improve load time for pages that include images on mobile devices with slow network connection. Rocket Loader, improve the paint time for pages which include JavaScript. Automatic signed SXGs, improve your website's performance by making cacheable resources available on Google signed exchanges, enable Chromium-based browsers to prefetch your website on Google's search results page and make your website faster. Improve the largest contentful paid LCP, which is part of the core web vitals, and increasing your SEO rating. Interesting. By making cacheable resource available on Google's signed exchanges. That's interesting. Wow. I don't know about that. Prefetch URLs. Cloudflare will prefetch any URLs included in the prefetchable HTTP header. So I guess this depends on some of your HTTP headers on your server or on your website. AMP, real URL. Display your site's actual URL on your AMP pages instead of traditional Google AMP cache URL. Mobile redirect. Redirect visitors that are using mobile devices to a mobile optimized website. And that's cool. So if it's detecting them coming from a phone, you can actually have them redirect to a totally different subdomain. That's pretty cool. We're here to browser insights. Okay, let's see what else. Caching. So the caching is available on our paid plans, Pro, Business, and Enterprise. So it gives you cache statistics. You can cache your entire website. Browser cache TTL. Determine the length of time Cloudflare instructs a visitor browser to cache files. During this period, the browser loads the files from its local cache, speeding up page loads. The child sexual abuse material CSAM scanning tools allows website owners to proactively identify and take action on potential CSAM located on their website. With this service, the tool will attempt to match hashes of your cached images against. Okay, so if you're a large corporation and you're hosting data for a lot of people, this is probably something definitely you'd want. Just stay out of trouble or prevent talking from law enforcement and stuff. This will just take care of all of that for you at the same time. That's what that looks like. Crawler hints. Crawler hints provide high quality data to search engines and other crawlers when sites using Cloudflare change their content. This allows crawlers to precisely time crawl and avoid wasteful calls and generally reduce resource consumption on origins and other internet infrastructure. By enabling this service, you agree to share websites and blah, blah, blah. Always online. This is a big one for me. Keep your website online for visitors when your origin server is unavailable. So what's happening is it's pulling up a cached page. So the site's going to be a little older than when your server's up. Development mode, this just bypasses the cache, just in case, you find any problems. Something's not working right, you're trying to locate it. That's why they call this development mode or developer mode, whatever you want to call it. Enable query string short. Cloudflare will treat files with the same query strings as the same files in the cache, regardless of the order of the query strings. Requires enterprise or higher. Tiered cache. Deliver response to your user more quickly. Rise clear. Automatic find the best upper tier for mode. Modify a site's HTTP requests and responses. Make parallel requests or generate response from the edge and bulk redirects. Settings. Normalize incoming URLs. Normalize URLs to origin. Network. Okay, HTTP accelerate your website HTTP2. HTTP/3. 0-RRT connection resumption, IPv6 compatibility, WebSockets. This will just let your sites know whenever you're using IPv4 only. I believe most of the translation is done on the NAT for IPv4 to IPv6 via the ISPs, and then if your network is compatible with IPv6, it might be more of a direct connection, something of that sort. I notice this personally on my network. I like to use IPv4. It's obviously more simple. IPv6 is a huge pain. Very well, I agree with that. Maximum upload size. Response buffer. Through client IP header. So this is kind of like Nginx's servers, real IP. Pretty much the same thing, but Cloudflare's version. And Cloudflare tunnel, load balancing analytics, health checks, waiting rooms, custom pages. So you can create your error class pages and stuff. People can't get to your site because a page can't be found. You can make a custom page that they will be delivered to. Apps. Now this is cool. They have tons of apps and APIs. Server-side excludes automatically hide specific content from disreputable visitors. Hotlink protection. That's what you get with Cloudflare. Let's go over and check out their API real quick. So for you guys that like to host a server in your residential area, no static IP address, want to host a website, Cloudflare you can do it with. You can put a small little API-based script, pretty much watch your IP address, then immediately when it changes, it will notify Cloudflare, and their DNS will point to the correct location again. So if you want to get out of spending a lot more money for your internet, there's a way on how to do it. Use their API. So Cloudflare API. Great thing about their API, which is one of the most powerful things about Cloudflare, is most of it seems to be available to the free users. So here's the API. If you look, get user details, free pro business enterprise. Edit user, free pro business enterprise. Limit tokens, free pro business enterprise. Token details, update token, delete token, role token, limit permission groups. And you can see, look at how much further we have to go down the page. Holy crap. Yeah, so it seems like anything possible to do with API. Oh, that's nice. If you look up here, it's all on one page. So pretty much everywhere you click right here, it's all on one page. That's cool. I like that. Okay, so yeah, anything you want to do with API, from my understanding, most of it's available for user, and their API is extremely powerful. So you get the most bang for your buck out of the $20 plan. It gives you access to most of their resources. Obviously, if you're some giant corporation and you're switching over for their enterprise class features, they're probably gonna, be a little more serious about your latency and your account and stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff you get with your enterprise class account. They're gonna be paying attention to, willing to give you a helping hand whenever stuff hits the fan. So they're going to be able to help you there. That's pretty much what the enterprise stuff is going to entail. It's going to be more support, or quicker response whenever you're having troubles with your trouble tickets, or whenever you make a phone call, they're going to take it more seriously. And you get like a few extra little features on the account. So yeah, the Pro is going to be where the bang for the buck is going to be at for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to actually migrating to Cloudflare's DNS. So what we're going to go ahead and do is click on Add Site. I'm going to do barryreedsroofing.com, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Site. And let's go ahead and start with the free version. So as you can see here, you can turn on or off the proxies. This information that's pulled in is generally all public. Like doing the same thing with MX Toolbox and doing a reverse lookup through the DNS and getting the information. So it's pulling up all the DNS records for barryreedsroofing.com. So I don't want to do proxied right away, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Turning proxied off. Review DNS records. Okay, we're good there. Let's go ahead and go to continue. Okay, so here's the important page. Now it's saying log into your Godaddy account and remove these following name servers. So let's go ahead and log into Godaddy. Sign in. View domain settings. HDNS. I could have just kept scrolling down and got there, but I guess I want to click around a little extra. Okay. Primary name server. Name server. There's quite a few name servers. Okay. So, right down here, using default name server. Go ahead and change. Enter my own name servers. Go back here. Magical copy button. Paste it in here. Go copy button. And paste it in here. And save. Okay, your request is in progress. Most name server updates take effect within an hour, but it could take up to 48 hours globally. Remember when this used to take practically like a week years and years ago? It'd be like, yeah, which is why a lot of people don't want to transfer. But yeah, so this is actually my personal account. I'm going to be doing this for I'm going to be doing this for the company I work for too. Transfer their websites over, and then a friend, and then I've started doing it for another person I've worked for. So I'm pretty much moving a lot of stuff over to Cloudflare. After I looked at the benchmarks, I'm kind of late on it. A lot of people actually know about this. Cloudflare's been around for a while. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know it was like this good. I started looking at the benchmarks and some of the feature sets, and I started pinging their DNS. It was really maybe when I pinged Godaddy, I was like, what the? In fact, here, I'll show you. Ping Godaddy's DNS. And yeah, about 40 MS. Let's go ahead and click the magical copy button. Hit insert and ping Cloudflares. Yeah, that's huge. That's like huge in terms of response time. It's like massive. So when I seen that, I was like, yep, we're gonna have to change this immediately. And then when I got here and I saw their new GUI update they just did, I was like, yep, that's done it. So yeah, I've just decided, let me go ahead and review this after I started looking around. I was like, yeah, this is perfect time to do like an enterprise class setup tutorial with Cloudflare, but not having enterprise. So anyway, and I'll do some explaining that about the name servers and DNS and why they matter. So it's response time. It's not going to be that faster download speed because the DNS is only your pointer. But you want that fast pointer to get where you want to go quicker, to have that response, especially if you want your site to be boom, 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 boom. Then, you know. Okay. So, you're done. Check name servers. Okay. Now let's click on get started here. Automatic HTTPS rewrites. So keep in mind, if you're doing this, you need to ask yourself, what else are you using besides just your basic web ports, and how some of this stuff will affect it. So, automatic HTTP rewrites. Why not? Google's getting pretty strict about blocking access. Like, recently I've had to use Firefox. Like, you know, I have like an iDRAC control. I use an internal network. And it's like the first time I couldn't click advanced to ignore, because, you know, I'm using my internal network and my Wi-Fi is pretty secure, so I don't care that it's like, doesn't have a certificate. So, you know. And then I download Firefox just to like, so they're getting pretty strict on that. There might be a day coming where, you know, it's impossible to have a non-encrypted HTTP connection. Who knows? Always use HTTPS. So HTTPS rewrites, always use HTTPS. You're always using HTTPS. I'm pretty sure you don't need the automatic HTTPS rewrites. But, you know. So, why not? Save. Just to let you know, this is not going to do anything at all because I'm bypassing the proxy. Now this is what I was ranting and raving about before. The JavaScript, the CSS, and the HTML auto-minify being available on a free account, this is huge. This is huge. This is huge. This is going to give you a big jump in your Google page speed test score. Right here. This is a really big deal. This is free too. It's a big deal. Big deal that's free. Especially since it's universal and they're applying it to like all sorts of different websites, WordPress, and everything. You know, the algorithm's got to be really good. So, speed up page load times for visitors, HTTPS. Yeah. Okay, finish. Probably asking, well, is that it? That's all? You can also do domain transfer, but no, that's not all. So now that we've added this, if you want to increase your computer or your network's response time into going to that network, which you want to make sure you do, show you here. If you have a server and you're putting an entire gateway-based server on with your websites, everything on it, like I am, you want to pick it up to your actual domain name, respond to your domain name quicker, then this is how you're going to do it. So this is kind of important, especially if you have a gateway server. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and navigate over to your ETC, your DHCP server, whether it be on your router or your gateway server. For me, this is a gateway server because it's got Linux installed. Linux is operating as a DHCP server. Got Nginx installed on it. It's got a whole bunch of other things. It's a full-blown gateway server. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to go to ETC, DHCP, and DHC, ETC, DHCPD config. So let's go in here. Okay. So this is my DHCP server. So the way you're going to want to set up your DNS is going to be like this, and I'm going to tell you why. So, if you're running a DHCP server and you have your Linux box as your server, your router, your everything, your gateway server, and you're getting a DHCP from your ISP. So I'm getting a DHCP from my ISP. And the very first name servers The very first DNS servers I pick up are my ISPs. And the fiber hub is right down the street. So obviously, according to distance and who my provider is, I'm going to want to use them as the very first set in my name server. So, for example, if I go ahead and ping this, you see the ping is extremely low. So, I'm using their primary, their secondary, and the very first DNS after my ISPs I'm using is sam.ns.cloudflare.com. Now, believe it or not, I can take all these out and only leave this, but I will not have access to most of the internet, but I will have access to cloudflare.com, my websites, or anything else that's pertaining to this DNS in general, for the most part. Now, the reason you're going to want to have them right here is because this SAM right here, whenever they give you a name server address, they give blocks out. So sometimes it'll be sam.ns.cloudflare.com, and then one might be linda.ns.cloudflare.com. So whenever you're using that block, you're helping the DNS narrow down your location a little better. So you could just use 1.1.1.1, or you could use ns.cloudflare.com. That's going to work too. This helps narrow down your location a little better. Now, the reason we're putting theirs right here is because you've switched your sites or your servers and all that over to their DNS. So this is giving you a quicker access to your domain name that you own. So that's why you're going to want that there. And then I like to use 1.1.1.1 as a global DNS, and Google's 8.8.8 as a global DNS. So that's the order, and that's the reason I have them in this order. And this is a good methodology to use for creating your DNS entries. Location is very important. Using your ISP ones is also important, especially if you're like, it's important. You don't always want to use the Google's 8.8.8. And certain IPs have certain latencies based upon distance, and that's why Cloudflare is so big, because they have a global network and they're issuing out name servers according to location, and they got a lot of, they know what they're doing. Everything is like extremely top tier elitist DNS. So Cloudflare is awesome. So that's how you set up that. Now, if you're so now that we have our domain name server set up on our gateway correctly, whenever I plug a client machine into the network, it's going to grab this set of DNS servers as well. So if you're also running static and you don't have a gateway server or anything, you just go to your Windows adapter and put in the IP there of Cloudflare's DNS. Linux, same thing. And you're on the client machine, you can just go ahead and edit your resolve, or just put in your DNS entries. You're just going to want to make sure you have your blocks DNS that your domains are on your local network too. It just helps the lookup time a little bit. Now, most people are going to want to be using the proxy. So I gave you the 3 entries I recommend for the 3 free rule sets they give you. In fact, just to show y'all, we're going to go ahead and turn on the proxy here. So I have the proxies turned on. Okay, so it's been up for a few hours. So from what I've seen, a lot of the propagation has already taken place for the DNS. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give y'all the settings that you'd want for your free DNS proxy to be as fast as possible. The first thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is go to the page rules. Then you want to create a page rule. Now, usually disabling all the security is an enterprise feature, but something interesting is I saw disable security right here. There are only 3 free rules. And the rules are mainly used to apply certain feature sets to certain pages that are on your domain. And what they say here is that they recognize the asterisk symbol as, everything. So if that's the case, and that statement is true, we're going to take advantage of that. So if you go over and you look at security, it is an enterprise feature to fully disable. Now, I'm not sure if this does the same thing or not, but we're not concerned, at least I'm not concerned about security. We could take care of that ourselves, or most of it anyway. What we're going to be concerned about is as fast as possible. So we want the least amount of processing done to the site as possible before it gets served to the client. So we're going to take advantage of this disable security and these asterisk symbols. So what we're going to go ahead and do is do asterisk, roofing.com, asterisk. And let's just go through here again real quick, see if there's anything else we want. And let's go ahead and disable apps. See if there's anything else here. And disable that. Get that one down. Let's see if there's anything else. So on the speed and optimization tab, we already went over this. Auto minify, how great this is. You want to make sure that's on. Again, probably said that 3 times now. Quarterly, we can try this on or off. I'm keeping it on for now. Early hints, let's go ahead and keep that on. If you have a WordPress site, this would be a really good reason to upgrading to their $20 a month plan. These guys have been around for a while and they have the infrastructure, obviously, for the DNS optimizations, and they obviously know what they're doing, especially if they're applying stuff like this globally to a bunch of sites. Their algorithm's got to be good. So taking that into account, common sense tells you their WordPress plugin is probably really good too. So this, if you have a WordPress site, I definitely go to the $20 a month plan and go ahead and install this plugin right here. Rocket Loader, yeah, turn that on, why not? We're gonna go over here to configuration. And caching level standard, browser cache TTL. Instruct a visitor's browser cache files. During this period, the browser loads files from the local disk. So whenever a client goes to the site, it downloads the files, and then it sends out a time for that browser to keep the files and use the files. So let's go ahead and shoot for. You could put the year, then I'm sure most of it. You know what? A year. We'll just go ahead and abuse the clients. Okay. Crawler hints. Keep that on, definitely. Always online, that's just a good feature. Okay, looks good. Tiered cache. I'm a little weary of this one. It says right here, deliver responses to your users more quickly, reliably, and securely. But if you read the description here, it says tiered caching is a practice where Cloudflare's network of global data centers are divided into a hierarchy of upper tiers and lower tiers in order to control bandwidth, keyword control, and then bandwidth. Number of connections between an origin and Cloudflare. Only, another keyword, upper tiers permit. So if you look through the description here, there's way too many regulatory words, so we're not going to enable it. Okay, another one, evaluate HTTP headers. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. Now the stuff I'm turning off here, I'm just expecting most people to have like a medium traffic-based website. Not some you're getting absolutely bombarded with bots and security. This is just for making your site as fast and responsive as possible. Reduce the number of captures shown to the visitor. Yeah, that's gonna make a lot of people mad. You start getting too many of those. So we'll keep that on. Challenge passage. Specify the length of time the visitors. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and move that up to here. What I'm doing is this is a performance tune, so security's out the door. Another thing, any of these that were used for any type of verification offsite, you're going to want to make sure DNS only and not to be proxy. Okay, so that's it. We have tuned all the settings for pretty much naked security and all performance. Now the fun part, let's do some real world testing. So, okay, so now that we've implemented their DNS into our LAN, and we've gutted the security, and we've done all the settings to performance for that domain, we're going to go ahead and do some basic real-world performance testing. So let me open up a terminal. Let's go ahead and ping. Okay, so we're going to ping about the exact same as their name servers. So it is leaving the network and coming back in. I do not have any host modifications of the host file that say that that domain is actually this IP that's on the LAN. So it is exiting and returning, and this is the ping. Now, let's go ahead and just look around. As you can see, our response. Oops. As you can see, our response to Cloudflare's website is pretty fast. Now let's go ahead and go to the domain we did this for. Okay, it's up. Contact. Look around. You can see. Very good response. Now let's go ahead and go to Google. Google page speed test. Let's go ahead and do veryzerofree.com. Okay, we have a 69 on mobile performance. I know a lot of you website guys know mobile performance is pretty hard to get high, and most people's is always pretty crap. And let's go desktop. 96. Whenever you have like a full-fledged WordPress website and with tons of plugins and add-on, really hard to get to this number. Although this WordPress-based site does not have that many plugins. So yeah, that's it. As you can see, it is pretty snappy. Yeah, that's it, guys. Hope this video helped you out. Like and subscribe.